Hello guys and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today we are looking at the 2026 KCSE Computer Studies Project question paper. We will be focusing on creating clarity so that you understand the requirements of the question paper. I will also be highlighting some of the common mistakes that students make, so stick around for more information. The project title is Azani Internet Service Provider Information System and the question paper was just released a few days ago. If you haven't accessed the question paper yet, I'll leave a download link down in the description so you can get a copy and follow along. This video is meant to give a clear overview of the project, especially for those who have not had the time to go through the paper in detail. On the same note, we are currently working on a complete prepared version of Milestone 1 and Milestone 2. If you need a fully worked out project for guidance, you can visit our site at kcscprojects.com and make an early order. Early orders will receive a 10% discount and prior consideration once the projects are complete. I'll also leave a link to the site in the description. With all that said, let's take a quick review of the question paper so you understand the problem in depth. Alright, on my screen I have the question paper open. So if you've not had this copy, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can download the question paper. So the project name is Azani Internet Service Provider Information System, as I had said earlier, and this is basically a case study that deals with distribution of internet. This is done in primary schools, junior schools, secondary schools, and colleges. So these institutions that are interested in getting the internet in their schools should pay a registration fee of 8,000. So one of the things that students might do is trying to set this amount to be a manual field or a field that you should add the value manually. What you should do is make this an automated field using maybe something like a default value or a calculated field so that the user doesn't have to do this manually or won't forget to add the values. The next thing that we have is the cost of the internet per bandwidth per month. So there is a 4 Mbps internet band that costs 1,200 shillings per month. So again, when you're creating this, don't make this a manual field. Make sure that you have a table for the bandwidth and it's a drop-down field that a user can just pick the bandwidth without having to type it manually. You should also display the rise and the Mbps so that the user doesn't have to go back to the table just check if it's correct value or not. Then when an institution requests for the service, the company visits the site to establish the readiness of the institution to have the internet installed. Also, before the institution gets the internet installed, you should make sure that the institution has a related assessment record that is fully filled and complete, because if the school is not marked as ready to install, then the company should find out what is missing. If it's the local area network nodes or LAN nodes, they should purchase the LAN nodes from the school from this table. So what this means, it's a range for 2 to 10 nodes, it's 10,000, not 10,000 per node, but 10,000 for all the nodes. Same for these other rows of the LAN node. So an institution that would like to upgrade their bandwidth is offered a 10% discount. So this one should be an automated field. Immediately someone clicks on something like upgrade. So maybe you'll have a button to upgrade. When someone clicks on the button, it should automatically apply the 10% discount. That is for an upgrade. You should also make sure that you don't do this for a downgrade. For example, if the institution had higher bandwidth and then they move down, you should not add a discount because that is not an upgrade, it's a downgrade. And then all institutions using the internet service are required to pay by the end of the current month. An institution which fails to pay is surcharged 15% of the amount as an overdue fine. The internet service will be disconnected if the amount due and the fine will not have been paid by 10th of the subsequent month. Once an institution pays the bills and the overdue fine, a fee of 1,000 is surcharged for the reconnection. So this one should be something like an automated macro, because when your system opens, there is a special macro called auto exec. So if you create a macro and just name it auto exec, that macro will run each time the database is open. So instead of having the user check if it's the end of the month or not, you should set a macro that will do that automatically. So you can connect a macro with a VB module that is for more control and more power for calculation So these are the things that you're supposed to do. You should create a database or a system that you are able to register at the institution requiring the services together with personal details of the contact person. Then you should be able to capture the payments, which include the registration fee, the installation fee, and the monthly payment. Then you should be able to generate a query for the registered institution, a list of defaulters. Then we have a list of institutions with the disconnection issues. Then we have the details of the infrastructure required per institution. And then you should be able to perform these computations. First of all, you should be able to calculate the total cost for each institution, then the cost of personal computers and LAN services for institutions with assorted services. Then you should also be able to calculate the total monthly charges for upgrading internet service, monthly charges for internet service service overdue fine and reconnection fees generated from each category of institution. You should be able to aggregate the amount for each service sorted by the institution. Then you should be able to generate appropriate reports. So we already have a complete database for this that is already functional. You can visit our site, as I said earlier, that is KCSE and you will get the full database ready there. You can make the payments and then download the database immediately after you've completed the payment. With that said, let's meet in the next video where I will show you a complete database that solves all the problems that are stated by the question paper. If you like this video, please like, then subscribe to the channel, share the video with people that might find it interesting, and until next time, bye bye.